Hey, we're the Flick Chicks.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica.
And this is the episode where we step into the madness that was Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Ooh.
Oh,
that was a mouthful.
Was it really madness? That is the question
Honestly,
we will ponder today.
You're right. Was it? Or was it just
Was it
film?
really madness? Or was it just there?
Yeah.
Was it mid-ness?
I love that. Oh my goodness. Should have used that.
I saw people calling it the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm dead. That's actually hilarious. Oh my goodness. So
not to spoil our
I know.
thoughts,
So if you
but,
haven't seen the film, what you doing? You shouldn't have clicked on this podcast. But we're going to be discussing Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness today on our episode.
Spoiler alert.
On our episode of Roasting Movies by the Fire. So
Woo-woo.
This movie's getting roasted. I'm so sorry, kids.
This is going to be, usually our roastings are not really roastings. It's kind of just like a casual discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare that we actually do roast a movie, but
this
I'm afraid this might be one of those times where we're just going to be ripping into it the whole time.
I'm going to be laughing, kids. I'm going to be laughing. Like, that's how. Okay.
I'm just going to be annoyed, but
yeah. So, I don't know what Monica's opinions are, and she doesn't know what mine are, but I think we still have
we watched the movie separately.
I think we still have similar feelings in the gut. That's what I'll say.
I would hope so, because we had similar feelings about Eternals, I think, too, right?
I think you liked it more than me, but still we weren't like, it wasn't like a fight. Like, it wasn't like, oh,
like I wasn't like I didn't love it like enough to be like, but like
I think it was the same. We usually come to the same conclusion. We usually kind of like or dislike things pretty much the same. It's just the reasons we dislike might be different. So you're more like a plot person. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm more a character person. But movies tend to mess up both. So
so sometimes we find a middle ground.
Both. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's get into it. I'm going to do a quick summary of the movie just to jog your memories on the plot points.
In case you forgot already, because you know what? It is a little confusing.
It is, sis. It is.
A little mishmash, so we'll try to lay it down for you.
So, Doctor Strange is down bad because Christine, his ex and love of his life, is getting married to somebody else. And basically, he's having an existential crisis, allegedly, and doesn't know if he's happy or if all the sacrifices that he's made to be a hero, like disappearing for 5 years, for example, are worth it, right? And we'll discuss later if that theme pays off later on. Spoiler alert, it does not. Ooh. We immediately meet America Chavez, who's a teen girl who's being chased by like a one-eyed demon monster. So Doctor Strange and Wu help her defeat the monster, and America reveals that she can travel through the multiverses or through the multiverse, sorry. And someone's been sending demons after her to try and get her powers. And if they did succeed in taking her powers, she would die. And to like complicate things further, America doesn't know how to control her powers and can only open portals to like other universes when she's afraid. So Doctor Strange realizes the demons have witchcraft runes on them, so he goes to Wanda for help. But turns out, dun dun dun, Wanda's evil. Oh my goodness, it's been 5 minutes. Wanda has been corrupted by the Darkhold, which is like some magic book with dark spells that kind of, let's say like takes or possesses people and makes them kind of bad, evil, whatever. And
it was originally in Agatha Harkness's basement. So
yes,
that's where we first found it.
At the end of WandaVision, you saw her like reading it in her whatever thing.
Astral projection.
Yes, astral. Thank you. And she's Wanda has been the one sending demons after America because she wants to steal her powers to be able to travel to a universe where her twin kids exist, and just in general with access to like the multiverse, you just have endless possibilities. So there's like just that appeal in general for Wanda, if that makes sense. And in trying to escape Wanda, Strange and America travel to another universe where they get taken in by the Illuminati and Earth 838. That's where they are. 838's version of Christine. So there, Strange learns that the Doctor Strange of that universe used the Darkhold to try and defeat their version of Thanos and basically destroyed millions of people in doing so. So they had him executed. And then eventually Wanda dreamwalks into that universe, which is when you possess the body of yourself in a different universe. Okay. And Wanda goes on a crazy killing spree, to say the least, and trying to catch America.
Murderous.
Yeah. It was dope, though. Like, visually, we'll talk about that. But eventually, she catches America, and Strange with Christine have to find another way to get to her because they basically get pushed into another universe, and Wanda gets to keep America in the original Earth that we know of. So they end up stealing the Darkhold from an evil version of Doctor Strange. If you've watched the What If series, it's kind of like Sinister Strange, but like watered down, I would say.
It's just like honestly, I don't even think it has anything to do with that. I think it's just like a version of Doctor Strange that just happened to use the Darkhold and is like
corrupted. I just think the only thing is it's he has a similar thing that he did it to stay with Christine is what I'm getting at. So,
I mean that seems to be the case in all of the universes for some reason.
Mr. Strange, you need therapy. Anyways,
oh my god, you took away his doctor. That's so offensive.
Yeah. So they end up stealing the Darkhold from that other version of Doctor Strange. And they end up stealing the thing from Doctor Strange, and he dreamwalks with. So basically, when America at the beginning of the movie, she had been trying to get help from another Doctor Strange from another universe, and he like betrayed her, and then she brought but he ended up like getting killed. So she brought his corpse to the Earth, So he possesses that corpse and becomes a zombie, which like that corpse decompose quickly. I've never seen that.
Right. Oh my god.
And he literally, Doctor Strange, possesses the zombie to come over to give America a pep talk, just to tell her that you can beat Wanda. So America's like, okay. Yeah.
He also brings the souls of the damned to
Yes.
kind of help his case a little bit.
Yeah. So he
And surround Wanda and scare her.
Yeah, scare her. Ooh.
Don't really do anything but scare her.
Yeah, exactly. And then the scaring is to give time for the pep talk if you didn't catch on, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So America tries to beat Wanda, but Wanda is literally like the most powerful being in the world at this point. So
Yeah.
instead, America ends up opening a portal for Wanda's multiverse kids, that's what I'll call them, to see her. And they obviously don't like what they see because she's literally like choking America to death almost. And Wanda realizes,
scary.
Yeah, Wanda realizes she's been a monster, and destroys all the versions of the Darkhold book and herself in the process. And then the movie ends.
Herself? I don't think she destroys herself.
Well, yeah, she like puts the Scarlet Witch, technically, that version, she puts a building all over herself, so she like destroys herself allegedly. I still think.
Well, I don't think that's very. I honestly, I wasn't really clear about that. What
I know.
after.
I think at least they're trying to imply that she destroyed herself. That's the implication. We like maybe other fans will probably know that like that's probably not the case, but at least that's what the film is trying to portray. And then the movie ends with Doctor Strange walking down the street being like, I'm happy now, I guess. But then he has a third eye. Damn. But he's fine.
Yeah, because of his use of the Darkhold.
Yeah, because there are consequences for using the Darkhold always, and that is that. So I think that was a pretty concise recap, kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's also Wong. Wong is doing stuff too. He's all helping out.
Yeah.
He never got to travel the multiverse, so he's just holding down the fort at home.
I'm so sorry. I called him
getting kidnapped, getting thrown around by Wanda.
Notes. I will fix that. Yes, his name is Wong, and he is barely in this film. Okay.
I mean, he's in it. He's just getting hit all over. He's just getting kidnapped and tortured by everybody. Mm-hmm. Not really doing much else.
Also, yeah, I also felt like that scene where she like tortures the students. Is it bad that I was she like yeah. I was like, is it bad that I was like she didn't do that much? Like I thought he was gonna hold out for a little bit longer.
I mean, yeah, but she also did kill a bunch of them.
I know, but she was like, I'm gonna, and I was like, sir, like have some decorum, some strength. Well, whatever. It's bad. I'm just evil.
All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into things we liked and things we didn't like. I think the things we liked will be a little shorter if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. My things that I liked is like maybe let me I have my notes pulled up. Like a quarter of a page, and then things I don't like is the entire rest of the page, and then the next page.
And then some. Yeah.
So that's just to tell you.
So do you want to start with things you liked, and then I'll name the things I liked?
Yes, I will. Okay, so if you didn't know, this movie is directed by Sam Raimi,
Yes.
who, interestingly enough, like, I actually didn't really know this, to be honest. I'm behind on my movie trivia, film trivia, but Sam Raimi is like known as a horror film director. I only knew him as the guy who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Same.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he is apparently like really known in the horror world, right? So
I don't watch horror movies,
and he
so
has
it's
like
not
a
surprising that I didn't know that, kids. But yeah, I think so.
So yeah, he's directed like a few really known movies. I forgot what they're called, to be honest. One of them is like The Living Dead or some kind of zombie movie as well. So he has a very specific style, and I knew going into this that like apparently he had been like he's gonna bring his style to this movie, like his horror style.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the style because you know this movie is technically like it was classified as like a horror movie. There's like definitely like some jump scares and imagery, like really like graphic imagery compared to other stuff, sure. I would say, like, you know,
especially
so
at the
I
Marvel
liked
level, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I like that because I personally like when Marvel lets a director like put their own style into a movie and move away from like the typical Marvel formula, like, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy and like Thor Ragnarok with like Taika Waititi and all them. So I like when they do that. So I did appreciate that at least like there was something a little spice added into there, you know, a little something different. And I liked the horror part of it because I mean, like, you know, Wanda was creepy, so like it made sense that she's jumping out and screaming all over the place and stuff, you know. So yeah, I think the movie does like work well as like a horror adjacent, I wouldn't call it a horror movie, to be honest, but a horror adjacent movie. Honestly, to me it's just a Marvel movie but with more jump scares and more goriness, but because you're dealing with like demons and souls of the damned and whatnot, so I like that. And I like the visuals of the movie, like in general. I think, you know, it was pretty interesting. I know some people had mixed reviews about the like fight between the regular Doctor Strange and the Sinister one, like with the music notes. Some people said it was like really silly and like stupid, but like honestly it was the only fight scene where I was actually like into it, where I was like actually paying attention.
Oh really?
And not kind of like bored a little bit. So well, besides like the Wanda ones, but I'm saying like
like with him. Okay, I was gonna say I was like
involving him, where I was like, okay, like, you know, at least it's different. I was kind of like I was kind of into it. I was like, okay, you know, music.
Most people I've seen have said like at least I like that they tried it. Some people said it was too long, which I could see a little bit.
I could see that. I saw some people saying like it was just stupid, and I was like, I mean, no, I think it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
It's something a little different, you know. And yeah, in terms of like performances, I really liked Xochitl Gomez. I think that's how
I think it's like Sochi. Yeah, that's all I've ever heard people just
Xochitl Gomez as who played America Chavez. I think she was really good. I didn't know she was only 16. I thought she was like maybe like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah, I thought she was like 20, literally, because I just assumed like, you know, Hollywood be doing
me too
that.
Yeah, especially for Marvel, but no, she's like 16. Good, so I was
her.
like, you know what, she did a really good job, and I want to see more of her in the MCU. I wish they kind of like, I know they did explore her powers a little bit, but I hope like in the future they explore her like backstory a little bit more and her like homeworld. And obviously I think Elizabeth Olsen did a really solid performance as Wanda. Obviously. Do I think it was like phenomenal, like the best I've ever seen in my life? I did like her a little bit more in WandaVision, I will say, but that's probably because of exactly what her character arc was in the movie, which I will discuss more in things I didn't like. But overall, I think she did a good job. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Notice how I didn't say anything about the actual story, because that's where the problems lie.
Literally. Okay, so ditto on all the stylistic elements of the film. I also agree with you. I like when you can watch a movie and know like who directed it. I actually think that's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Marvel should let directors have more like say in the creative style. Like literally the films who tend to have the same directors over and over again tend to do better, in my opinion. Like specifically like when the Russo brothers did all the big ones, it felt cohesive and it was good. Same with
exactly.
What's his face from the guy who does Guardians? Oh my goodness.
James Gunn.
Thank you. And then Taika Waititi did a really cool thing, and even John Watts with all the Spider-Man, like he directed all of them. And
I like when they keep like
consistency,
the same director for the same kind of character arc and stuff.
And I think I'll even speak to that. I think it's it's part of what makes some other characters have more trouble because they get tossed around by a lot of directors, including Doctor Strange.
True, because they don't get their own kind of arc. Like, this is the second Doctor Strange movie, but the first one came out like 7 years ago. So
and
it's technically a really long time for a sequel.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of an issue there that they have with this franchise specifically, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I love the fight scenes with Wanda. I thought they were super cool. I'm not a big horror movie person, but I really enjoyed this. Like, I was those parts, sorry. I enjoyed the horror-ish elements parts. I actually thought they were like entertaining. Like, I was on the edge of my seat sometimes and I did gasp. I was like, wait, because
I did like, oh yeah, sometimes, you know, when something came out.
Spoiler alert, Professor X part, I really was shocked by that. I didn't think that was gonna happen the way it did, like with the red smoke. I don't know. I thought he would like inhale the red smoke and it would just like kill him. I didn't expect her hands to come out. I don't know. That just didn't come to my mind.
Yeah.
And snap his neck. Damn. Anyways, or like literally, what's his face getting the fork guy getting imploded? That was insane. I like that.
The fork guy?
The guy who can kill somebody by speaking. I forget his
name. The Bolt.
Black Bolt. Thank you.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I was like, he has a fork on his head, bro.
Oh yeah, when she's like, what mouth?
Yeah,
he had
no insane. Mouth. So that was cool.
I thought that was. I kind of laughed a little bit, and I was like,
yeah, I thought it was funny.
Sorry.
But when he literally like when he blew up, then I was like, oh, like that was yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, at least the movie made me react in ways, which is good.
That's always the minimum that you can expect.
This is what I'll say. The fact that I can't come up with like real things that I like, so I had to be so nitpicky with like this specific thing.
Yeah,
I did like when Doctor Strange told Christine that he loves her in every universe. I thought that was a sweet line.
That was actually really cute.
Very cute. Like when he was
that line.
Oh, that exact line. But I'm about to say it was very unearned. Like it was a beautiful line, but literally, like,
I think it could have been put somewhere else.
So many,
like out of context. I really like the line.
It's beautiful.
In context, I'm like,
even like just the scene. Like if I were to crop just him being like, "I love you" in every universe, I was like, oh
yeah. And then, I like that.
And then I remember that we're in this movie, and then I'm like, damn it, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like out of context, it's a really nice line. But
so those are the only things I have on it. Let's go into things we didn't like.
I think if we want to like kind of organize our thoughts a little, maybe we should like go by kind of like general like idea theme, because like for example, I'll tell you right now, like mine are kind of categorized into like Wanda's story arc and why I didn't like it,
and Doctor
Strange,
then
the story feeling overall and why I didn't like it, and then also it's the movie's place in the MCU and why I didn't like it.
Have a very
and then
similar
the cameos / other characters.
Okay,
I didn't like that.
Mine's a little.
So that's kind of my like big
than
themes.
Yours. I think I have Strange as a his own point and America.
I don't have a Strange point, so I'll let you do that one because I don't really care about Doctor Strange enough to think about his story arc in that much detail. So
well, I'm gonna do a more character depth analysis.
Of course,
shameless plug, guys. But just for him, it does have to do with the continuity, though. I will say that, so you might be able to jump in that respect.
Okay.
This didn't feel like a Doctor Strange movie. Like, I know his first movie was 7 years ago. But they completely threw out every single thing that they set up in his old movie for this film. What's his face? Mordo, the guy who like was gonna go after him allegedly, like after the movie ended, like it ended on a cliffhanger of him wanting to go after him. Yeah, nowhere to be found.
Where was he? Nowhere to be found.
And then we see him in another. That was so dumb. We see him in another universe, like another version of him. But somehow Doctor Strange uses the same tactics of like the issues from his version of Mordo to try to get at him, and I'm like, why would this work? Like, you guys don't like it's not the same.
We clearly have established that people in the multiverse have different thoughts and different
feelings, different relationships completely. So I'm like, why would this guy being like, I bet you liked it when I died? How do you know they weren't best friends? Like, what do you mean?
Like, what if they were actually besties? Or what if he's like, I mean, I don't know, I don't really.
I mean,
like, we
nah,
weren't really tight like that.
We
weren't really tight like that. I don't know.
He's not evil, and he's just like arrogant in this one, if anything. And I was like, why is this even? They really like flattened all the characters, but Doctor Strange the most for his movie, which was crazy.
I think they just like in general, the one thing I would think about in terms of Doctor Strange's storyline, because again, I wasn't even that big of a fan of the first Doctor Strange. Like, Doctor Strange is kind of like, I think Doctor Strange did best when he was like in the Avengers. Like,
I agree,
because he was the character who was like seeing the bigger picture of everything.
Yeah, I thought he
when
was
everyone
really
else was thinking right here, right now
in the other movies, which made me more excited to see like. I just think, okay, sorry, not to interrupt you again, but I just think they regressed his character arc, which I don't believe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like because he was the big picture guy, and then in this one, I thought, okay, we're getting the even bigger picture, and it was like, nah.
And they were like, nah. This whole thing about he needs to be the one to hold the knife. Are you kidding? Did he not give the stone to Thanos and disappear for 5 years and let Tony be the one to literally like do everything? Like. Huh? And also
it's not adding up
in his first movie, because I've been doing my research, he literally lets the surgeon guy that he hates, that shows up at the beginning of the movie about like, hey, can you save my brother? And he's like, ew, no. That guy, he lets him operate on his mentor. Like, he's like, you can do this. So I'm like, we've learned this lesson already, and he's moved on from that. So I don't know why you're like pretending, and that's a theme in this film. Of undoing lessons we've already learned. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like undoing lessons we already learned, and also ignoring things that we've already established to be true. 100%. Like Mordo coming back for him. Where was that? Like, you know what I mean?
Or like even the events of No Way Home. Like, it really doesn't. seem
okay. Well, I guess I'll go into that because that was one of my points, but. Yeah, like one of the things I didn't like was just how detached this movie felt from the rest of the MCU, which like, okay, I know there's like an argument to be said, like, I've just been like pissing myself off reading like people's arguments. I just hate when people are like, why do you guys always have to expect every MCU movie to like have 10,000 cameos and talk about the rest of I'm like, because that's what the MCU is. Yeah. Like, that's what it's always been. It's always,
this
at least in some part,
standalone movie, so y'all can shut up. Like, even by
exactly, because it's like, okay, maybe in like phase 1, all the movies can be detached from each other, but now you've interwoven everything so much that like, yes, I'm gonna go into this expecting that it's gonna address previous MCU things, especially when it's literally the continuation of No Way Home.
Yeah, it's not like he's like, a new character we've never. It's not like Shang-Chi where
it's not an origin story. It's not a little side quest like what's it called, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they're off doing their own little thing. This is literally the big picture guy who was like, the things that he does and the things that he deals with the entire universe. Yep. So apologies for thinking that whatever happens in this movie is going to affect the universe in some way,
in a big significant way, right?
Or at least like take from like, okay, so I going into this movie, honestly, some of y'all are liars. I will tell you right now, some of y'all are liars, because people going into this movie, people were like, oh, to understand this movie, like, it's actually one of the movies that you need the most previous understanding for, because you're gonna have to watch Loki, you're gonna have to watch What If, No Way Home, and WandaVision, whatever.
I understood why you would think that.
I can't even point to you one thing in this movie where I would have to have watched Loki to understand.
No,
tell me where in this movie Loki or anything that happened in Loki came up.
The universe, the only thing that they could say, which is a stretch, is that the universe where the evil Strange is in looks a lot like the place that the King, the Destroyer, whatever his face is, was in. But that's a stretch.
But like, it's not. But we know it's not the same though, because
it's not.
Kang was like, the place that Kang was in was not a multiverse. It was at the end of time.
That's what I'm saying. It's a stretch. It's this.
So it's not even the same place.
Nope.
And like, Loki was supposedly the one that opened up the multiverse. So you mean to tell me we're not even going to discuss that? Because according to the Loki show, and I have things to say about the Loki show. I don't know. Maybe I should make another episode about it, because the Loki show honestly confused the hell out of me. Facts, but like, according to the Loki show, there was no multiverse up until recently. That's what they're saying. Mm-hmm. They said that the TVA was keeping the TVA as in like Kang, I guess, was keeping the sacred timeline, as in literally stopping any multiverse from being created. Yep. But then all of a sudden we walk into Doctor Strange and it's like, yeah, there's a multiverse. Well, obviously we know that now because of a No Way Home. Yeah. But it was just like, yeah, multiverse. It's there now. We're not even going to address the fact that this is new. We're just going to, America Chavez has been here this whole time. She grew up traveling the multiverse, as if the multiverse hasn't been established. Like, unless they're going to later on tell us like, nah, Kang was lying. Like, there was always a multiverse. They were just like keeping it hidden or whatever. But like, I don't know. First of all, liars, because I can't think of any single thing in Loki that you would not have to watch Loki to understand this movie at all. Loki doesn't tell you anything about this movie except there's a multiverse,
which you could.
If anything, it actually like that's what I'm trying to say. If anything, it actually, what is the word I'm looking for?
Confuses you more.
Like,
or distorts.
Dismisses some of the stuff that Loki says. Because, like I said, Loki is claiming that there was no multiverse before, and now there is one.
Yep.
But then Doctor Strange is like, nah, it's the multiverse, obviously. Like, Vision had theories about it. Like, what? I thought we just opened it up. Like, I'm confused. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, another thing, too, is what if? People said you have to watch What If. Where? Just to understand, like, a couple little references here and there. Like, I don't understand how you could be confused at the story because you didn't watch What If. Because the only things from What If that showed up
either. Like, it's not even.
That's what I'm saying. The only thing that showed up in What If was Captain Carter, but it's not even the same Captain Carter as the one in What If. It's like they're in a different universe, so it's just a version of Captain Carter. So you can be like, oh hey, that's Captain Carter. She was in What If.
There was Rambo as Captain Marvel. I'm not confused. I go like,
which is not in the same universe. Yeah, the Captain Carter from What If is not the same as the Captain Carter in this one. And then the only other thing you would probably understand is the reference to the zombie episode of What If, but it's not the same because in this one the zombie quote unquote is just Doctor Strange reanimating a corpse. But the zombies in What If is because of a zombie apocalypse, like a genuine zombie apocalypse. So they're not even the same things. If anything, they really baited and switched everybody by teasing the fact that Captain Carter was in the movie. They put her in the trailer and put the zombie in the trailer just to be like, y'all come watch this movie, like it's gonna be What If and then they were not. Same thing with like the Sinister Strange, like whatever.
Yeah, I wish they had.
People thought it was gonna be Strange Supreme, and it wasn't. It was just some dude. Like they really, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. Like they just put all that stuff in the trailer to make you think that it was gonna be related to What If, and it wasn't. There was not. It had nothing to do with What If at all. Not even the post credit scene. Nothing. I was like, why did I go watch What If then? Like, you know what I mean? And then like. The only thing that, and like No Way Home, don't even get me started. I'm confused. How do they remember, like they know who Spider-Man is, but aren't they not supposed to know Peter Parker? Like
they don't.
They never really explained, but they never really explained like because if they don't remember Peter Parker, then Steven shouldn't remember helping him because he helped Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. So I don't even know. That's already
that's gonna be the catch-22. I think any time that Peter Parker was involved, it's just gonna be Spider-Man. Like you have to assume that he had his.
I guess, but like they barely even referenced whatever happened in No Way Home. Whatever was going on when Strange was trying to close the like they just little bit like, oh yeah, Spider-Man. There's a guy with spider powers, and then they just went off topic. Like, and then if anything, the only thing that you kind of should have probably watched is WandaVision, but
yeah.
Like the only thing from WandaVision that is important is the kids. Vision, where is he? I don't know.
Who's that?
Where did he go? I don't know, because if I recall, she also loved Vision. She also said goodbye to Vision, not just her kids, also Vision, who was alive at one point. Her kids were never real.
Yeah.
In this universe, but Vision was an actual, robot that was alive that she was in love with. So where is he? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere, not even mentioned, not even referenced.
I think I don't know if I heard this. This may be wrong. I can't confirm. I heard that. I still don't think this is good though. I heard that she did say that there was no version of Vision in her like the multiverse. But that could be a fan lying, first of all. Second of all, even if that's the case, make it louder and prouder. Because if I missed that, then...
You got to make it clear. Yeah, exactly. Or I saw someone saying, like, I saw this Marvel kind of TikToker that talks about things, like, doing, like, theorizing that she knew, like, that it's in her subconscious, because she's getting, like, corrupted by the Darkhold.
Yeah.
In, like, subconsciously, she knows that Vision would not approve of her doing these things.
Okay.
Because he didn't approve of her building the hex or whatever. Like when he became aware of it, he's like, you shouldn't be doing this or whatever. So someone said like maybe subconsciously she knows that he would never approve of her like using the Darkhold and trying to travel the multiverse, so that's why she didn't project him into her. But still,
have her say that.
I don't understand, because she's looking at multiverses. So you mean to tell me he's not in any of the multiverse? Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Right? It's not making any type of sense. So like,
or even if
I don't get
the
that.
case, like have her say, like, I don't like the idea of I have to come up with assumptions to justify things. Like
exactly. Like you can't just bring Vision. I don't know. Anyways, I'm still pissed about that. And like, I don't know. I just like there's just. It feels so detached from the rest of the MCU, and it's like you can't tell me, oh well, not every MCU movie has to be attached to it, but this like storyline in particular was supposed to be the buildup of all these things that we've already been established. Like all these Loki, WandaVision, Loki, What If, No Way Home are all in chronological order before Doctor Strange. And they're all addressing the same topic, which is the multiverse. Well, Wanda like teased it at first, and then Loki, you know, explained how it got broken up, and then What If explored the possibilities, No Way Home explored the consequences of these multiverses, whatever. So you mean to tell me when we get to Doctor Strange, it's like, yeah, no, we're not really gonna talk about any of that.
Yeah,
like you can't tell me that's gonna make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Even aside, because I didn't go into the film knowing all these theories or whatever. Like I didn't do any of the homework that was needed. Like I watched WandaVision and Loki just because people told me to watch, like way before, just in general.
Yeah, I watched them like when they first came out.
Yeah, I had like less expectations than you did, and I still was like, "What is this?" Like it literally.
See, I went to watch the movie with Gabby. Like, you know, you all know Gabby. Maybe she's been on the podcast once or twice, I think. And she's watched, I think, WandaVision and Loki and No Way Home, I think, but not What If. Like she's like kind of casually into it or whatever. And after the movie, I was like explaining how confused I was about stuff. And she's like, okay, so like I was confused. I thought I was just confused because I'm not into MCU stuff. But seeing you're confused means that it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because like it was confusing. It's not because of like previous knowledge or whatever. It was just confusing.
It was just weird. It was weird. And also, okay, I mean, I agree with everything. I'm sure we could like go on about how it was all the missed opportunities, but I think this is going to be my biggest point overall. Like just to summarize how I feel about America and Wanda, let's just say like their stuff. And then you can go into how you feel.
Yeah.
I actually think they did a disservice to America Chavez. They didn't make her an actual character. She was an object that was being chased around. Literally just getting tossed around the whole movie. And he was like, learn to control your powers, and she's like, I can't, and he's like, oh, okay, and then it just goes on. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess like, we'll just figure it out as we go. And then for some reason at the end he's like, yo, I'm a zombie now, do your thing, girl, and she's like, I gotcha. I was like, is this a comedy? Like, I was like, no, not him having half of his mouth ripped off, telling her to just do it, and she's like, okay, and then she does it. What and just her backstory, by the way, I think that they managed to insert her backstory in the most inorganic way I've ever seen in my life. That memory thing, literally the most dumb way to introduce backstories I've ever seen in my life. Like, babes, it would have been more impressive and impactful if you had her tell the story while like crying or something. Like that would make me be like, oh, like I didn't need to see her be Anthony Bridgerton. Like have a bee land on her hand and then her mom's get sucked into a portal, and then me being like, oh. But like it was like I could tell that they were like, okay, so we need to find a way to tell her backstory, and they're like, should she tell the story herself? And they're like, no, that's too obvious. Okay, you know how they're in this universe, let's make it so that in this universe they have this thing where if you step on a tile, it shows your memories. Like what? Sir, like, and then let's just show the memory, and then they're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, and then just go about as if nothing happened. Yeah, like I was literally like, and also like it was so dumb because Doctor Strange accidentally stepped on it. I think that's what they were implying, and it just started playing his memory, and he's like, ah, shoot. And then America was like, what purpose does this memory lane thing have in this universe? It's literally just like, in what universe would that be a thing where you could just accidentally step on a tile and they show you your most painful memory? Like what do they gain? They didn't even like charge for it or anything. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you replay that? Like, and also it was weird to me. This is what made it so inorganic too, on top of it. So already I had to suspend my disbelief of this stupid machine. Doctor Strange accidentally steps on it, okay? Yeah. Homegirl sees that it's showing a painful memory, and she goes, let me step on it too. Why would you do that? Also, isn't that kind of an invasion of privacy that like when you go to this memory lane thing, that when you step on it, the people around you can just watch? It's weird. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. What is this machine? And they just kind of brushed past it. They just did its purpose and then left. But I'm like, why would this universe have this? Yes. And it was like I get it at the end, they're like, oh, thank you for using our machine, that was $5. I'm like, okay, you know what, it's a profitable thing, right? And they exploit people's memories to make money, fine, whatever. But they literally nothing. I was like, why would they have this in this universe? Facts. It's so stupid. Like, there was just so many better ways to do it. Like, no, so many better ways. I could have thought of a better way. If she literally just told us what happened to her parents and we saw like a like a flashback, just as effective without being stupid. Like we would have been like oh.
it would have been the same. At least I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's so dumb. People probably would have just been like, oh, what a cheesy like backstory and everything. But it's better than this. It's better than this.
And also it's a lame backstory. They should have done something better. Okay, I know you liked her, but I'm not gonna lie, I felt like no ways about her, and I actually think they didn't set her up well for her show, which I know she's getting.
I didn't really like her character. I liked the actress.
Oh, the actress sweet. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry to her. They gave you the blandest script you could ever get, and that's not your fault. And I apologize. I don't know how else to say that. Now, second part, Wanda. Okay,
I have things about Wanda too,
I know you're gonna probably. I think
in.
We might have different. Maybe like what they should have done, because that's what I'm gonna go with, because what they did wasn't good. Okay.
I didn't like what they did either, so
I think
go get into it.
I'm actually not opposed to, I know a lot of people are like, oh, she basically learned this lesson in WandaVision, and the whole trope of like a woman in power going crazy is kind of tired. I understand that argument.
I agree with that. Yeah.
However, I'm not even against a negative character arc for her. I actually think they could have done it well, but they didn't. Why is Wanda having a negative character arc off screen? Why is she turning evil off screen, and then you're just gonna tell me that she turned evil, even though I watched a whole show about her coming to terms with like her grief? Like, so you're gonna undo the 9 episodes we watched off screen?
And that's what I was saying before, where it was like, even with WandaVision, they just like, yes, you kind of need to understand with the kids, but then they just negated everything that happened in it anyways.
Like, thematically, they were like, nah. And I was like, why? This seemed like an easy thing to me. Why not have Wanda help train America for her powers? And then like off, like on the side, we can see that she's like doing Darkhold stuff. And then she reveals like, actually, psych, it was me. That would have been way more interesting. Way more like, it would have given America something to do, okay? Because homegirl was just running, but I can tell you why they didn't do that, because this is a Doctor Strange movie, allegedly, and if they went that route, Doctor Strange would not need to be involved, and that's the sad part. I'm so sorry, sir. This is not your film, and it didn't need to be. They could have just made a Wanda movie.
At this point,
yep.
With Doctor Strange as like the side character.
Yeah, he could have been like the Tony Stark to the Peter Parker. Like, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel.
That's how I feel about it. Is I literally had written also the exact same thing, where it was like, why is most of her character development off screen? It's not making sense. Like you mentioned, like her getting evil on screen. I was more mad about her kind of like ending to be off screen a little bit, like, because the thing is, I think the way that they did her character in this movie was like any other Marvel villain. Like, there is nothing setting her villain arc apart from any other villain, I guess, storyline. And like, it's not supposed to be like that, because she, like, this is the first time, I could be wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time in the MCU so far where they've taken a character who literally is an Avenger and made them into the villain against another Avenger. That's the first time, right? Like, I don't think any other character has had
they're
that,
not
right?
redeemed. Yeah, because you could say, oh, Iron Man was the villain in Civil War, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really.
I wouldn't even say that, because it was like,
but like,
they were
she used the big
other.
bad, and that's it. Yeah, I agree with
like,
you. Yeah,
because you know what I mean. Like, in Civil War, the whole point of it is like, it's Civil War, so there isn't really a villain. Like, technically, it was Bucky at first, but anyways, like, this is the first time I think where it's like a good Avenger turned bad. That hasn't happened yet, right? It's a really interesting concept to explore, because, you know, they're Avengers. They all have different motivations. They all have different, you know, experiences or whatever. Like, eventually one of them is going to turn bad, right? So this is the perfect opportunity to like do that and make it like super interesting, and, you know, acknowledge the fact that like, this is someone who was on our team and is now not on our team and is trying to mess things up. But they just treated her like any other villain, where she was just kind of there.
Like, there was
and
no
her
love
whole thing was
either.
just why she's mad. Yeah, her whole thing is just why she's mad, why she's trying to destroy everything. But they didn't explain the complexity of the fact that like, she was good before. Yeah. She was on our team before. What happened? And then at the end, when she realizes that, you know, I've been a monster, whatever, like, we don't even get to see, like, even like just adding a shot of her like deciding to burn the Darkhold. We don't even see her doing that. We just see the Darkhold burning in wherever Doctor Strange is, and he sees the Darkhold burning, and he's like, oh, so I guess Wanda decided to, you know, right her wrongs or whatever. We don't even get to see that. And then after the building, I guess, falls on her, whatever, we don't see her again after. So it was like, what was the, like, they could have replaced her with literally any other villain. It could have been anyone else, just any sort of powerful being that just showed up and was like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have to be Wanda. That's the thing that pissed me off. It was like they made it as if she's just any other villain. Like it literally could have been anyone else. Yeah, it could have been anyone else. Like, they didn't even like make it specifically, oh, this is Wanda. It's just, oh, Wanda just happens to be the villain in this one. Like, you know what I mean? It was just,
you know what makes it even funnier? She has the exact same plot as Kingpin in Spider-Verse, if you really think about it.
Kind of. Honestly, I don't really remember. But
his whole thing is he wants to make a machine to open the multiverse so he can find a version where his wife and kid are alive.
Oh,
and they literally ran away because they saw him trying to kill somebody, and they were like, "Oh, this is bad." Just like her little twinsies. I have not seen
anyone talk about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, her little twinsies.
It's a little too similar for my life.
Yes, it's insane. And yeah, like his little kids see him trying to kill somebody again and they're upset. And then the only difference is, I guess, Wanda kills herself and allegedly, and this guy just dies or something, I think. I don't remember. But it's the exact same plot.
That's what I'm saying. So it was like, what separates her in this movie from any other villain? Like, you couldn't tell me that if they just replaced her with like a original villain or some other villain who just wants to gain powers to the multiverse, like nothing would have changed, because they barely addressed anything for her character, you know what I mean? Like, and like her redemption was off screen, which is usually what happened, or not redemption, but her like conclusion, I guess, was off screen, which is normally what happens with other villains, which they should not have done. Because this is not just any other villain. This is an Avenger who you want us to assume we're gonna see more of or whatever, but I don't even get to see her resolution.
Yeah, honestly, like now that you've like, that's a amazing point, excellent point. Now I think about it, like this should have been like an ensemble movie, if you really think about it. If you're gonna make Wanda the villain in the film, you would technically have the other Avengers coming and being like, what's wrong with her? Like, now that you pointed that out,
because like literally, why didn't he call for help? Like, why wouldn't he have called for help? If it's Wanda, it should be way more important, right? He's like, nah, I'll deal with this on my own. Like it's the most powerful being in the MCU, and you're like, nah, I got this. Me and this teenager over here, we got this. Like, what?
Like, and I know like a lot of the people that would have come are deceased, but there's still some people who should have, could have, would have been involved. So it didn't really make a sense.
That's what I'm saying. I think they fumbled their like opportunity, I guess. Like, I think it's a big job to like take an Avenger and make them evil, and I think they fumbled it. I think they did not do a good job with it. They made it like kind of boring, not boring, but like kind of like like, I just, at the end of this movie, like that's kind of what my next point was, like the overall like feeling of the movie was just that it was like really underwhelming. Like, I was kind of just like, okay, and
this is
like, you know what I mean? I literally left the movie and I was like, okay, and what, like and what about it? You know what I mean? Like, that's literally how I've never felt like that after watching even like the bad Marvel movies. At least I didn't come out of it thinking, what was the point of that? Yeah. But I came out of this one being like, what was the point of that?
No, this was probably the first Marvel movie I've watched where I saw the end clip thing. What was it? The post-credit thing? And I rolled my eyes.
Don't even get me started.
I rolled my eyes.
That pissed me off. Both of them. I don't care what anyone says. Both of them pissed me off.
Both of them? Oh, the weirdo who's still hitting himself and he's like, it's over.
That one was stupid, but even the first one. But I'll get to that in a sec after. Let me just
go on. I think I'm done. Yeah, no. Just basically the writing
that leads into that too. But yeah, like, it was just like, even before the post-credit scenes, I was like, where was the madness? That's what I meant to say before, where it was like multiverse of like, there was no madness in this multiverse of madness.
Like, verses.
We went to 3 universes. One of them was literally just like one of them like Earth, the regular Earth, but in a different font.
Yeah, because they have
and
different fonts.
Like, the other one was just like, we literally saw one room. Like, what do you mean? I didn't like multiverse of madness. Where? Like, you know,
why didn't we have a universe where you had to like walk upside down? I feel like that's such an easy thing to do. Like, just
anything concepts, or like I don't know. Like, if you're going to make a multiverse movie, you got to give me some better cameos than that. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't need a million cameos. I don't need a million cameos. But the ones that we did get, I was like, and like, okay. Like, I was like, all right, I don't care. Like,
I did like, I'm not going to lie, but everything else.
Professor X was interesting, but also I was like, I mean, they all died like 5 minutes later anyways. So I was like, it could have been literally anybody. Like, it did not matter. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Where it was like, the only cameo that people actually got, like in my theater at least, it was, I'll tell you right now, my theater was dead. Like after the movies, the guy in the row in front of me was like, yo, I almost fell asleep. I was like I was like, I feel that. But the only cameo that people actually like, or the only moment really where people actually like had a big reaction to was when Mr. Fantastic showed up. Yeah. And then he dies like 2 minutes later. So it's like, okay.
I do know a lot of people. I guess I don't know. I was like, okay, sure.
Like, I don't know. I feel like they could have made it more fun. I think if you're gonna have the cameos, I feel like it could have been done better.
They could have made it crazier too.
If you really think about it, if they didn't even have those cameos, would the movie be that much different? No. Not really. It was honestly just there for like shock value to see those characters.
Because you would think that those cameos would like help him in the end at the climax. Like it would do something like, oh, because I know that there's a maybe a different Scarlet Witch from another universe, and she ends up like something, like you would think that it would come to help in the end.
Like that's what I'm saying, where I feel like the cameos are, they're just there for like shits and giggles to be like, you're gonna see Professor X getting murdered by Wanda, that's fun. But it's like they could have done without it, and I feel like it wouldn't have made a difference.
Like it really was just a cameo rather. And you know what's I did say this to my brother in the car because he actually enjoyed the film, and I was like, sir, no. But okay. He thought it was fine. He didn't, I would say he like, but he was like, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I was like, the thing that I think that made me most shocked about this too was the cameos that we got in this film is what I expected in No Way Home. I expected,
where it's like a quick little cameo,
I expected
just
Toby
for funsies,
and Andrew to literally like wave at Peter at the most, because I
thought they were gonna show up at the end of like, and just during the final fight.
Yeah, just the fight. Yeah,
like I thought when Doctor Strange just like struggling to keep everything
I thought they would show
gonna
up,
jump out and be like,
waving.
oh my god, we're here to help.
I thought maybe if they couldn't even get them, they were gonna like CGI some random Spider-Man and be like, it wink wink, it could be them. Like I really thought that's what they were gonna do, because at the time I was like, there's no way they're gonna get
see Toby for me I think I was already at a disadvantage because I had accidentally seen like a leaked photo of them at the final fight scene, like on the scaffolding or whatever.
Okay,
so I hadn't seen anything else, so I just assumed like they were gonna show up during the end fight scene, which would have made sense. But they had like an important role in the movie. So I agree with you, where it's like it should have been switched if anything.
Like I expected
in No Way Home it would have made more sense to have them just show up for a little bit, maybe even like die. I don't know. You know,
like I really thought they would be a small cameo. I was like, there's no way these people are actually going to interact. And then in Multiverse, I expected full-on interaction, like literally the Switch. Yeah, I expected the Switch.
Literally.
Because I was like, this guy has the actual powers.
Because it's the Multiverse of Madness. That's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's why I was just kind of like, it's just really underwhelming in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I feel like, also let's not even talk about, like, apparently I'm not a comic person. I do know, like, because you know how they called the Marvel MCU Earth, they called it Earth 616.
Yes.
I'm not very familiar, but I have heard that before. And I thought Earth 616 was in the comics, like the main, because in the comics, like there's so many different versions of Earth, like they already have their own multiverse shit going on. So like I knew that there was an Earth that was designated 616. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the one that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. But apparently it's not. Apparently 616 is not the main Earth in the comic books.
Oh.
So I don't know if that was like a mistake, or if that's hinting to maybe none of this is real type of thing, or none of this is what you think it is. But if it is, that would make it even more stupid.
It could be like, it could just be a continuity thing, like as in our universe doesn't have this stuff, so that because this is the issue I have with the multiverse thing, and just in general with the future of Marvel, which is what we could talk about this for a sec. For example, in Eternals, I think what a lot of people complained about, and I think is rightfully so, is that the stakes didn't feel high, because we felt like there's no way they're going to destroy the world. Like, literally, like, that doesn't make sense. There's no way.
I think they made the stakes too high. Right? Where it was like, if we don't fix this, the whole world would be destroyed. And we're like, well, obviously the world's not going to be destroyed.
Exactly. And I think the same thing kind of goes with multiverse, as in you're opening the multiverse. So you're making possibilities endless. So that means that when people die, we might not feel as serious, because we're kind of like, well, let's just get one from 615-321. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a stretch. I don't even think this is what they're doing. If they wanted to surprise us, okay, they could make that Earth 616, all right? And
which Earth?
The Earth that they mentioned, sorry, like the Earth that we know, that we think is ours, is 616.
Yeah.
But maybe turns out our actual Earth is 831. Okay? I'm just making stuff up. So that in the biggest movie that they'll ever have, like the Infinity Saga equivalent of the film, if that world actually gets destroyed, they could like hypothetically bring these heroes to our Earth, because it would be very similar, just we didn't have heroes before. Do I think they're gonna do that? No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Apparently, I could be wrong again about this, but I had heard that apparently it might be a continuity error or like a mistake or whatever. Maybe. But in Far From Home, you know how Mysterio or whatever claimed to be coming from
some
another universe? Yeah. He was trying to say that he comes from Earth 616 and that this Earth was like something else. It was like 83512 or some shit like that. Oh, wow. So I think that's why people were confused too, because they were like, even within the MCU, they're not even being consistent. So like, you know what I mean? Sure. Unless it's just like an Easter egg or like they're just trying to reference that. I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't think I was more confused about that.
In general, that would be good, though. But I just feel like this movie was like missing like 30 minutes of like explanations or clarifications or just something.
I just think, again, like my expectations weren't high at all. I just thought you would get decent character work. Like, if you're gonna,
don't even get me started. Like Doctor Strange, I felt no ways about him.
Literally no ways about him, no ways about America, and then Wanda I
was just disappointed because I loved WandaVision. Like WandaVision was probably one of my favorite MCU projects like ever. Like it's definitely in my top 3 of like, you know, in terms of movies and shows or whatever. And I watched this so excited because I'm like, we're gonna get more of Wanda, we're gonna get more of her development and more of her, you know, continuation from her WandaVision storyline. And I was like, all I got was her being the like a literal just normal ass movie villain, like nothing else.
It was just,
so I was like, okay, like now what? Like, you know what I mean? It kind of like soured, like, you know, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth where you're like,
and they kind of like wherever she goes now is just gonna be so weird. Like I honestly, there's only like I read something. There's only 3 options. Either she's dead, which I don't think she is.
She's not. They already like basically like they confirmed she's not dead.
Okay.
So that's why dead. Like when you said, "Oh, she's dead," I was like, "She's not." That's why it was like that's why your ending in the movie was stupid, because it's like we know she's not dead. She's literally the most powerful being in the universe. Yeah, she can't die from a building.
But then let's say she turns good, right? Are we just gonna forget all the destruction she caused? Like, what's she gonna do with that?
The way you're explaining right now honestly made me realize like her character development in this movie is her exact same character development in WandaVision.
It is.
Because in WandaVision, she's technically the bad guy because she's holding this town hostage. And then at the end, she realizes that she's doing the wrong thing. And then she gets convinced that she's doing the wrong thing. And then she, you know, fixes it or like tries to undo what she did and then goes into isolation. Yep. This movie, she's doing the wrong thing. She's doing shit, causing destruction. And then at the end, she realized, like, we just did all of that.
But the
thing is, the end of that movie was the end of WandaVision was supposed to be her realizing that she's affecting other people. Then you mean to tell me that we're gonna do that all over again?
And I think what makes it worse is her sins were way worse in this film. Like at least she can come back and be an Avenger again, from controlling people. Because honestly, it was bad, but it wasn't really her fault at the beginning. Like she literally
like she did it subconsciously.
Like out of grief it just exploded, and then when she realized she should have stopped, that's where she started being like villainous. But then she came back and she's like, you know what, that's messed up. And like you said, isolation. She just fully murder people. Like you're not gonna like people. Fantastic Sir was like, yeah, I have kids and a wife, and she's like, snap. So I'm like,
well, good. They'll have someone like, she's like, do you have a wife? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, good. Your kids are gonna have someone to take care of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
cute. So I'm like, those kids are not gonna be like,
I thought I'm
okay with her being an Avenger. No, like it's too far.
Yeah. So now she's
I don't know what they're gonna do. The only option to me that is like believable, kinda, is that she's always gonna be some kind of antagonistic force. But that's just like tired. Like, what is that?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like her character didn't move anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just did the same thing over again. And that's kind of the same thing with Doctor Strange, where it was like he didn't really do anything. And then that honestly kind of segues into why I hated the post-credit scene. And I'll tell you why. So like the first one.
Okay, go on.
So first of all, I think having you know how Marvel started like they started a trend of like post-credit scenes. Yes. Everyone's doing a post-credit scene now. I don't know where we lost the plot. A post-credit scene is supposed to tease something that branches off from the story the movie we just watched. If your post-credit scene, if I'm watching a post-credit scene and being like, that should have just been the last scene of the movie, you did a bad job. Because the post-credit scene is not a scene that could be the last part of the movie, but you just copy paste and put it after you just rearrange the clips and put it after the credits. Like, that's not how post-credit scenes work. Actually, post-credit scenes are supposed to be like, you're not supposed, like, in my opinion at least, like, the point of a post-credit scene is that, like, if technically, like, that's kind of how they started, where it's like, if you leave the theater and miss the post-credit scene, you're not missing the ending of the movie you just watched. You're just missing like an Easter egg to lead to something different. And that's what Marvel has been doing. That's what all of Marvel post-credit scenes are like, where it's like the post-credit scene is like it's not just the last scene of the movie, just, you know, after that. Like, it's supposed to be leading to something different,
to be
fair, or at least hinting to something different.
To be fair, they did start not doing that as much near the end, but I think that was okay because we knew that all these films were going to be super connected. So they did do that in Spider-Man. Like, the post-credit scene does literally finish, like, the... Which one? Is that the one where he gets revealed? Because they do start the credits, and then post-credit, that's when what's-his-name goes like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And he goes, what the...
Oh, well, if anything, but the thing is that... Oh, he goes, what the hell? Right? Isn't that the post... That's not in the post-credit scene.
It is.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Are you sure? Okay, well, if anything, that one...
But I'm saying, I think that's okay because we've gone... Like, that's like phase... what phase? Is it phase 4, technically? Or phase... I don't know which one it is. Whatever. That was the phase where we knew what's up. Like, Marvel is basically, in my opinion, in a reboot. Like, we don't have any of these characters that we know and stuff. So I agree with you, as in they should be doing the type of post-credit scenes that they used to be doing way at the beginning, where it's very much like...
And what they're still doing now, I feel like, in phase 4, because the thing is with the Spider-Man getting revealed is that was now the first scene in No Way Home.
Yeah, it still doesn't disrupt, you know what I mean? Your thing, but I will say,
so it doesn't disrupt and if anything, it does point to something different, because we just watched all of Far From Home and then realized, oh, now his identity is revealed. Now it branches off into something different. Now there's a new direction for his story to go. Now it's like, okay, we just watched all that thing. Oh shit, next time he's gonna get revealed. That's a different thing, right? But with the Doctor Strange post-credit scene, again, I'll jog your memory if you haven't seen it. The post-credit scene is him walking down the street with his, you know, little third eye, I guess, or whatever. I don't know.
Or
we don't
he
really
wasn't
see it
there,
for a minute.
and then
Yeah. So he's walking down the street, which is exactly how the movie ended. Like, okay, I don't like the way they're cut together, because the last scene of the movie is him walking down the street, right? And then he starts going, and then, like, you know, his third eye pops out. That's how the movie ends, okay? And I'm like, that's a fine movie ending. That's totally fine. Little cliffhanger, whatever. And then the post-credit scene is him walking down the street again. I was like, already, I'm like, wait, what? Like, we were just here. I don't understand. He's walking down the street again, and then this lady pops out and she's like, oh, you have to come right now. Like, this is important. You know, it's I don't know, remember what she says.
Charlize
and then she opens
Theron.
and then she opens up the dark dimension from the first movie and was like, come on, let's go. And he's like, okay. And then he has his little third eye open. Yeah. That does not branch me into something different. That tells me, oh, this 2 hour long movie you just watched, there's actually more. We just didn't want to put it in this movie.
I think I agree with you, as in, I think the post-credit scene was dumb, but I would say for a different reason. I think it undermines the ending of the film. That's what I'll say.
That's what I'm trying to say, where it feels like the end of the film, like, it should have ended on that, where it's like, we don't know now what's happening with this third eye. What's going to happen?
I don't care that necessarily. I don't necessarily see that it needs to branch off to something different, but it's like, but it shouldn't undermine the suspense of your ending. Like,
that's kind of what I meant. Like, right? It was more just like, I don't think it necessarily, because the thing is, you could compare it to the Shang-Chi post-credit scene where they're sitting in the restaurant and then the portal opens up, and then Wong is like saying, first of all, what was that? Where Wong is in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, but we don't talk about that. I didn't even think about that.
I think they're gonna make an excuse later. They're gonna be like, the timeline was different,
but
whatever.
You see how with that, it does technically continue the story from Shang-Chi, but it's not like, imagine at the end of Shang-Chi, like the last scene of Shang-Chi, they're sitting in a restaurant and then they're like, oh, that was fun. And then the post-credit scene, they're back at you know what I mean? Like, it just, or something, like, they just kind of mess it up. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, like, in that post-credit scene, it's still the characters. Like, it's not like it has to be something completely different, like in Eternals or whatever. But then it hints to something else, because we have Captain Marvel and Hulk, and they're like, we have this thing and we don't know what it is. It like the post-credit scene you're supposed to watch it and think, oh, like something else, like something different might possibly be coming. I don't know how to like better explain this, but like it doesn't necessarily have to be something different, but at least like hint to something.
I just think the biggest problem is even if it was that scene, you're just specifically for this movie, you're undercutting your ending. Like you ended on
exactly. Yeah, I think that's what I was mostly bothered by.
And then now you're undoing the cliff. Like you're showing us actually there was rock there. Like why? Like all the other films that we're naming don't end on cliffhangers. They end like on a happy ending or something, and then they're trying to get you to come back for the next one. So this one, allegedly, you give me the third eye. If I'm interested in the film, that should be enough for me. Like I don't need more. But
because then you want to go back and be like, you want to go back to the next Doctor Strange story and be like, okay, so what happened to him?
Like he suffered consequences. Now I'm seeing this middle-aged white lady come to him and talking to him about let's go somewhere. I don't care. Like who are you?
That's what I'm saying, where it was like, it just kind of feels like they were like, but wait, there's more, and then that was it. And it's like okay,
another celebrity in the I don't
like, no, see, that's what, yeah, exactly.
I literally rolled my eyes. Like,
see, and that's why I think the post-credit scene in Eternals did it a little bit better, because they technically did something similar where there was like, it's like the but wait, there's more type of story. But it still, again, kind of hints to like, because now the characters in Eternals are like separated, like they're split up, and they're both like, clearly they're both about to go on different paths to eventually get back together. And it's not like, imagine at the end of Eternals if they're all together as a group and then Harry Styles shows up and he's like, oh, come on guys, we gotta go on another adventure. And like it's so childish to me. Like I don't know.
Like, even in Eternals, there was a cliffhanger in Eternals. There was the cliffhanger
they got kidnapped.
Homeboys got kidnapped. But the post-credit scene doesn't even acknowledge that and like kind of doesn't undercut that. Like he just goes like, yeah, your friends are kind of in trouble, but I'm Thanos' brother, so let's go, sis. Like
exactly. So it's like that. I feel like is a better way to do the. But wait, there's more post-credit scene where it was like you don't know what's happened. You don't know if the other people are okay.
Exactly.
Like they're out there somewhere, and then you have the rest of the people who get to meet this new character who's like, hey, I can help you find your friends.
Yeah,
that is a good way to do a. But wait, there's more post-credit scene. Not. Like imagine if at the end the Eternals they show them getting kidnapped, and in the post-credit scene we just see them again, and then they do something, and then Harry Styles shows up and he's like, I'll help you guys beat this guy, and it's like, what? We just like it just it undermines the ending. I think that's what I was trying to get at, where it was like it undermines the ending because it's literally just saying, but wait, there's more, but you ended on a cliffhanger. So how does that make any sense? Like we already know there's more, and now you just made it like less exciting. You know,
sis, this is what the verdict, because we gotta wrap up, even though
I know I'm so sorry. I could talk about this for a while.
No, it's okay.
But
I agree with you wholeheartedly. This film has so many flaws, and
and the second post-credit scene was just an insult.
And I feel like people are being dishonest too online. Like it is pissing me off too when I looked up. Like one person commented, which I actually loved. They were like, if this was a DC movie or directed by a woman, y'all would not be like this. And I was like, yo,
you're so right. People would be ripping, like, okay, later, I've talked about this before, about how I like Captain Marvel, even though people don't like it. People were way more critical about Captain Marvel than they are about this. Like, I'm so sorry, but
no, I'm like, my thing is like, I was like, this girl spoke fast. If this was a DC movie, y'all would be like, oh, DC can't do anything. They're so messy. They don't know how to act. And then if it was a woman director, they'd be like, ugh, she's trying to do too much. Like she doesn't know how it works here at Marvel. But because it's Sam Raimi, because he's the guy who did your and I'm not harshing on his style. Like I actually don't think he. By the way, he came in halfway through the project, so I know it's not even him who's in charge of the writing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that if it was a female director, I really feel like they would find a way to blame her. And if it was a DC film, they would just say, oh, well, that's DC. DC doesn't know how to do movies. And they would be done with that. That would be it.
Yeah.
That would be the end.
It's just, honestly, my final thoughts for this is now I'm a little bit nervous about the future MCU movies.
I'm so nervous.
Because it's like, Monica, how are they gonna fix this? Like, you know what I mean? How are they gonna fix this?
I'm like, I'm not seeing Doctor Strange 3 in theaters. I already know. I know for
I don't even know when there's gonna be Doctor Strange 3.
I don't know when, but I know I'm not seeing it in theaters, or I'm seeing it on
they said he's gonna return, so I'm like,
I'll see it when is what's the thing when it's like really cheap and they put the price down. Maybe that.
Oh my god,
sis, because I know I can read about what happens in the film and feel exactly.
But honestly,
the same.
it's not even just Doctor Strange. Like now, I'm worried about all the other movies because I'm like, how is the story? How are we losing the plot this badly?
I just
like, you know what I mean?
I'm not worried because this is what I'll say. I know Thor, Love and Thunder. I have perfect faith in Taika Waititi, so I'm not worried about him. I also am not worried about Guardians. I'm worried maybe Black Panther. Okay,
I'm very worried about Black Panther,
and that's not their fault. Sucks what happened, obviously. So I was always worried because it was just sad. So it's just tragic where we're at now. But I think the conclusion we have to come to is I actually think the solution is let the directors have more say. I actually think that's the solution, because
figure out what your storyline is,
and figure out
what is the purpose of all this stuff now. Yes, because now we finished with the Infinity Saga. Where is this going?
And you
know what I mean? Like what you have to at least
too. You finish Infinity Saga. You basically finish Spider-Man. Those are like the two biggest like character franchises that people care about. So you're really at the point where you need to grab people's attention again, like to make us care. For sure.
Because the thing is people love the Infinity Saga because from the beginning, it was always going to end up at this big culminating fight. And now it just feels like it's going all over. Exactly. So now it feels like it's going all over the place because maybe they don't want to do the same thing again. But like, that's what keeps people coming back to watch all of the MCU movies, especially in Infinity Sagas, because they know, eventually this is all going to matter.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not even saying on a big scale, even on a small scale, you guys need to get it together. Because Doctor Strange did need to be good on a big scale, like you're saying, because he is like a big guy, so it did matter. But like we said, Spider-Man was 3 movies. He didn't really, he did interact with other people, but it wasn't like, his movies still felt very much like their own. Like it didn't matter that much to the big picture of Marvel, yet it was very complete in its own trilogy. So homeboy, if you want Doctor Strange to have his trilogies or whatever he's gonna have, it either needs to make sense for the big picture, which is the right thing to do, or if you can't even do that, it needs to make sense in the small picture,
which it doesn't. It
doesn't match his movie.
That's why it felt so disconnected.
It doesn't match the other movies. Like it's like where who is this?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's the main feeling there, and that's why I'm just kind of worried for the future. But I don't know. Maybe they'll be able to pull it together somehow. Maybe in the end we'll realize it's a part of a big mastermind plan, and everything ends up making sense. But honestly, I have low hopes.
Yeah, is this early to say? I think they're gonna start being divided. Like I think it's gonna be very much like, and this is pessimistic, but I think it'll be the case where some people are watching certain types of films. Like I can low-key see myself being the type of person who only actually watches the ones that I care about.
I could see that happening
being
too.
Like Guardians, Thor. I don't mind the Eternals. Like I think I could see myself still going to see those films.
Me too. Yeah.
But the rest, like unless somebody tells me this film is good, I can definitely see myself not necessarily like jumping to go watch it.
Yeah, I could see that becoming a new thing where like people don't feel the need to watch all of them anymore.
Exactly.
Because again, it feels like they don't have a cohesive plan, at least in mind. Like they're not even hinting to anything. Where some stories could converge besides like 1 or 2 post-credit scenes here and there, but like we don't even know how far in the future those might be.
I just don't think they're doing a good enough setup of the new people too, because even in the beginning when we had Thor, Captain, and Iron Man, sorry I'm messing up all the names, but whatever. Their movies were pretty detached, and obviously they're allowed to be because they were freaking the first. But let's just say if you wanted to start like that again, but they took their time to make them all specific and well in their own right. And then when the movie comes together, like even if I was just a Thor fan, I'm gonna be like, well, Thor's gonna be in it, so now I'm gonna watch this this ensemble thing. But here they brought people who liked Wanda, for example, and destroyed that. People who actually like, I thought Doctor Strange, like we said, was decent in the ensemble movies, like in Infinity and Endgame, but they made him this, okay,
which is why I went to go watch this movie, because I was like, I liked him in the Endgame and Infinity War. He was doing
and he was not
cool
bad
things.
in No Way Home. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's go see him. But they were like, disgusting. And America is the new person that you're supposed to like kind of make me care about. And yeah. So what are we rating this movie, Monica? This is the hardest part.
I want to give it like a C.
Yeah.
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 Like a C, like a, what is a C in percentages? Like 65? 60 something? Yeah, something definitely.
Like that.
Like a C.
I agree. I agree. Like this is bad. I don't know what else to tell y'all.
It's just like in the context of everything. Maybe if I was like not an MCU person at all and I went to go watch it, maybe I would have been like, you know what, it's pretty fine, whatever. But as someone who's into Marvel, I can't watch this and be like, this is amazing.
No, I think I had, like I said, less expectations than you did. And still, just as a film, I was like, this is not like character wise, like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah. Well, I guess that's that. Yep. Marvel, get your shit together, or else you're gonna lose a loyal customer.
What are you, like some dad talking?
I'm a Marvel Karen. You're now. A Karen.
No, I
lose me as a customer.
Like, come on, guys, come on. Like, I'm gonna give you a lot of chances because you did a lot of good things. I will remember the good stuff you did. But
Kevin Feige, listen to me. This is not you.
Look in my eyes. Kevin, I thought you had plans for eons. I thought my children
they've been saying that. They're like, we have the whole storyline planned for the next 10 years. Well, it doesn't look like
it. Doesn't.
You're not doing a good job of showing that. Okay.
And also, I know unforeseen circumstances are occurring, but still, these are the ones that were already set. Okay.
You get paid millions of dollars, and you can't tell me that unforeseen circumstances are messing
you're
up
right.
your little
That's
story.
not even an excuse. Like,
no excuses.
Change it. Fix it. You guys did a bunch of reshoots for this film. Like, sis.
Yeah, apparently they like reshot a lot of it, and apparently there's rumors are going around that there's actually like there was 40 minutes cut from the movie, so there's like a Snyder cut somewhere around type thing for this movie. So I
did hear that. I heard that Raimi wanted to go even more horror, and they were like, no, take that.
So yikes, Kevin, see what you're doing.
Kevin, can't happen. Come on.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Roasting Movies by the Fire. What did you think of Doctor Strange? Did you like it? How do you feel about it?
Yes.
Maybe you absolutely loved it and you just listened to an hour of us ripping into a movie that you loved, and sorry. I apologize for that.
We probably should have put a disclaimer at the beginning.
Disclaimer, this is going to be a roasting movie. Why do we
No, we did say that. We said we were going to make fun of it. So you shouldn't have stayed if you're sensitive to movies.
But yeah, so you know the drill as usual. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram at FlickChicksPod, on TikTok, maybe FlickChicks. What is it? The FlickChicks. I think that's our TikTok.
Yeah, I think so.
And obviously rate this podcast 5 stars, of course, and also that's what we deserve.
Head to our YouTube channel, because I know we say this every time.
And head to our YouTube channel.
But we are actually posting stuff this for real.
Yeah, we've been saying this for like months, but we are actually going to be posting stuff on there. I promise.
Things are in the works. There's no turning back. So
yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Flick Chicks. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time for maybe an episode. Yeah. Maybe something else. I don't know. You'll have to see. Make sure you follow us so you know.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.